first time your ape lunges towards the pale silhouette of a soldier, the force of your strike launching them against the nearest wall, reducing them into a mass of garish red viscera. You hear a cymbal clash, a direct response to your brutality, the shrill vibration lingering as a drumbeat snaps into life. In this moment, despite playing for less than 10 seconds, it's clear that Ape Out is a very special game indeed. You play as a vibrant orange ape, held captive by heavily armed soldiers in a number of gorgeously minimalist scenarios, referred to in-game as albums. Each album consists of multiple levels, tightly designed labyrinths that must be navigated in order to find an exit. Each level is teeming with procedurally placed enemies, soldiers that come equipped with a variety of weapons and armour types. Although your ape is strong, it can only sustain a few hits before it's sent back to the start of the level, making combat a devious game of cat and mouse, or human and ape. Man and monkey. What am I saying? As threes of the right trigger will knock an enemy forwards. If they hit a wall or another soldier, they'll explode. Tougher enemies require more deliberate launching, their armour protecting them for a moment before you can kill them for good. Grabbing an enemy allows you to use them as temporary meat shields, the rounds they evacuate out of fear transforming them into inaccurate weapons you can use against their comrades. Grabbing a SWAT officer whose wild machine gun fire decimates all but the most heavily armoured of enemies is one of the game's most satisfying elements. I think that's the simplest way of describing Ape Out's tall gameplay loop. Satisfying. Immensely so. Smashing soldiers feels weighty and powerful, the Switch's HD rumble helping make every successful hit feel crunchy and raw. The game encourages constant forward momentum too, as you swing your ape around tight corners, ducking out of the sight tone of soldiers taking aim in order to sneak up from behind, smashing a glass partition and crushing them against a wall feels kinetic and fluid. Oh, it's so good. In a lot of ways, Ape Out feels like as much a successor to Hotline Miami as that game's actual sequel ever did. Much like Bennett and Dame's seminal work, each level is a perfectly refined, ultra-violent Tillbots, a puzzle that can be solved with both quick thinking and an aggressive attitude. There's similarities here with the original Metal Gear Solid 2, where dim-witted guards can be defeated by utilising blind spots afforded by the brutalist geometry, and escape plans are devised on the fly despite overwhelming odds and unclear exit points. The procedurally generated soldier placement is admittedly a little off. On more than one occasion I began a level with an enemy already looking at me, which resulted in me getting shot with no real way of avoiding it. But other than that, I have no real issues with the game's mechanics. Although your moveset is limited, enemy variation and inventive level twerts, such as falling bombs in a jungle environment or snipers taking aim through the windows of an office building you're escaping from for some unknown but brilliant reason, keep the game from ever feeling stale. Once you've checked off the game's main albums, they can be played through again on a higher difficulty or within a separate arcade mode, where points are awarded for kills and how quickly you complete a level, and death is permanent. These additional modes offer a pleasant amount of replayability, especially when the game offers its players so much scope for the careful refinement of their playthroughs. I imagine watching speedrunners tackle Ape Out is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Visually, Ape Out is astoundingly good looking. Minimal in its design, the game uses bold colours and a chalkboard style texture to achieve its wholly unique aesthetic. Levels are introduced in playful ways, and the simplistic nature of its graphics make environments and enemies easily readable, further enhancing the game's stellar design. Also, look what happens when you die. Marvellous. Look at that. Oof, at the kiss it. The game's greatest feature, however, is its jazz-inspired, dynamic soundtrack. After your first kill, a drum flares into life, providing a relentless, steady rhythm that persists for the duration of the current level. In between the violence, the beat softens somewhat, becoming a hesitant voyeur, a tension-raising batting trap that edges you ever forward towards your next victim. The subsequent removal of a frightened soldier's limbs is met with an instant gush of clattering drums. The more feverish the slaughter, the more ravenous the drums become in response, quickly rising into a chaotic orgy of rattling rims and pounding stain. Cymbals clash in reaction to the decimation of soldiers, the crack of metal accentuating the on-screen barbarity. In darkness, surprised soldiers elicit a saxophone squeak that could easily be mistaken for a human scream. Death punctuates this relentless sound, the regimental rhythm never ceasing despite the explosive spray of blood and viscera. It's an intoxicating amalgamation of sound and design. Easily the cleanest implementation of a dynamic soundtrack I've ever experienced. Ape Out isn't just a game. It's an album, one that's orchestrated by the player, their every action a swing of a conductor's baton, flecked with blood and bone. It's flawless. Now, I'm not a jazz connoisseur, but from my limited understanding, it's a genre that lends itself perfectly to the concept of a dynamic soundtrack. Arrangements are, by the very nature of them occurring as a result of a player's actions, random, but still manage to sound pleasing and strangely natural. I imagine this is all down to the game's incredibly talented sound team, so fair play, because it works wonderfully so. I played the Switch version, and was pleased to find it ran great. It plays brilliantly in both docked and handheld mode, its bold visual style helping to keep things comfortable on the smaller screen. Just make sure you play it with headphones on, yeah? Dud. Ape Out is an absolute masterpiece. A thumping, violent, exhilarating game that exceeds in every single way. If you have any appreciation for carefully designed, visually stunning, and impeccably stored video games, don't sleep on this one. It's worth every penny of its asking price. Get it bought immediately.